Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So in this video, I will be showing you how I personally use Smartlead.ai to send thousands of cold emails every day. So if you are someone who is not using Smartlead at the moment or is having issues while using Smartlead to send cold emails, in this video I will step by step show you how you can use Smartlead.ai as well without facing any issues and how to get the best deliverability out of it and how to use all those features, right? So let's jump over to my screen and I'll show you everything from the beginning to the end. So this is the landing page of smartly.ai. So let's start with by looking at the pricing of the solution. And as you can see, the monthly price starts at just $39 a month and you can connect unlimited email accounts to it. And even if you just want to warm up your inboxes, it's a great solution. And with $39, you get 2000 active leads, but it really depends on your usage. The pricing of the plan really depends on how many active leads you want and how many emails you want to send per month, or if you need any advanced features as global block list and something like that. So now let's move on to the platform itself. So this is how the inside of the platform looks like. On the left side you have all the option to quickly go to any feature you want. So the first thing we are going to start with is how to connect your email accounts, which is very important. So for that you are going to go to the email accounts option and click on add accounts, and there are basically multiple options to add the email accounts, but mostly people use Google or Outlook email accounts to send cold emails, so that's why you see a separate option for it. But if you are using an SMTP to send emails, you can simply upload an CSV or use an app password to connect your SMTP as well, right? So if you use any type of email account like either Zoho, which I don't recommend for cold emails, Outlook, Google, or SMTP, you can just drag and drop an CSV file and all of your accounts will be connected automatically. But if you still want to connect your Google accounts one by one, all you have to do is just click on this and follow all the steps that they mention, which are very easy to do, right? You can just quickly watch that YouTube video and go to the admin panel of your Google email account and follow all the steps they say, and then go on to click connect account and then select the account you want to connect to this, and then just it will be added, right? So it's that simple. For any provider you want, most of the steps are basically the same. You have an email account set up, you connect it to Smartlead by giving in all the permissions they want, right? And you also see a sample CSV option on top of here, and if you want an example of how your CSV should look like, you can definitely check this out. And obviously after you connect your email account, let me show you how to make all the changes related to your warm up, your sending limits and everything, right? So let's say I have just connected Saurabh at the scoutreach.us to this, and after that what I will do is I'll just click on this option, open in a new tab, so I can make settings to it. Obviously you can, after connected all your how many ever accounts you have, let's say 20 email accounts, you can quickly make a bulk update to all the accounts, which works really great as well, by the way. So this is how the overview of my inbox looks like. It shows you how many emails were sent in the last 7 days and how many emails we received and how many were saved from spam. And from this looks like we have been doing great with this, so our email account health is pretty good. So Smartlead also analyzes your email account health based on the warm up they do for you. So here is the warm up option, you can see. So after you connect an email account, you can enable the warm up from here and do all the setting as you want, right? It's pretty simple to do. It's totally depends on what you are comfortable with. But if you still want recommendation on what warm up settings to use or what sending limits to use, you can definitely watch my last video and I'll tell you like how the warm up works, right? And you can obviously in management add tags to this account. Like if you want to keep the Google accounts separate from the Outlook accounts and you want to create a tag for that, you can easily do that. And also I like Smartlead a lot because it gives me an option to add a client as well, right? So you can obviously create a separate client access for every client you work with, which makes it very easy to white label this as well. And after you do that, you can assign a email account and even a campaign to a client. So when they log in from their portal, only these email accounts, email campaigns will be shown to them. So this is a great feature, right? And in the campaigns you will see which campaigns are using this email account. So it provides all the information that you would need to take a look at your email account and make a decision. Here is also an option to add a signature that will be sent with each of your email being sent from this email account. So you can add that as well if you have any specific signature. You can use custom tracking domain, which here you can see a setup guide for it as well, which again helps with better open tracking if you want to track that as well. I personally do not track, right? So this is how you basically connect any email account you want in Smartlead and how you make changes to it. And there is also an option to make bulk changes to it. So let me show you how to do it. So let's say these are all the email accounts I have set up for Scout Reach, right? So if I want to make bulk changes to it, I can just simply select all these accounts, select the bulk update option, and then make any changes I want. And any changes I do here, and any changes like here as well with management as well, and with adding it to the for the client, and click save, all the changes will be done to all the inboxes. So which makes your job a lot easier going forward, because when you're managing like hundreds of email inboxes, it does make your job a lot easier when you have these functionalities, right? So now let's move on to how you create campaigns in Smartlead, which is obviously its basic function that you have to use. So to create a campaign, you have to go to email campaign option, and after that you have to click add a campaign simply, and then you name your campaign, then you upload the leads in that campaign, right? So I have selected a file that I want to upload this for test campaign here, right? Now you see three options here. So if you want to import leads even if they are in global block list, so for context, global block list is a list that is prepared by Smartlead, which include all the email addresses that they have seen emails bouncing from. So if you still want to send to those email inboxes, you can enable this option. In the second option, it says import leads in even if they are in unsubscribed. So global block list is for everybody in Smartly user base, but unsubscribed list is very personal to you. Obviously, when you are sending cold emails, you are running a lot of campaigns, sending to a lot of leads, right? So obviously some people unsubscribe to your campaigns and don't ever want to receive any communication from you. So Smart Lead will keep a note of that, and it's your choice whether you still want to keep pinging those people or you want to avoid them. If you still want to send those people, just enable it, but I keep it off both of these options because I don't ever want to really engage with the leads that are non-responsive or have already shown no interest in my solution. So I just want to focus on getting better and better leads. And the last option is, like, I'm running campaigns for a lot of clients, but if you're just running campaign for yourself, you might duplicate leads in multiple campaigns, right? So if you're targeting TikTok agencies and Facebook ad agencies, you might see some agencies which are in both criteria, so you might have duplicate leads, right? So if you want to avoid that, you have to keep this option as it is, right? So Smart Lead will not upload any of the leads that are already present in other campaigns, right? So right now I'm enabling this because I'm okay if leads in other campaigns are imported into this campaign, right? See, so now on the left side you will see all the tags that were in my spreadsheet, as you can see, and what Smartlead is seeing them as, or whatever you want them to feed them in Smartlead's database, right? So first name is mapped as first name, last name is mapped as last name. So there is no need of title, so I have kept it blank. So company name for email is obviously company name. So this is the email. So website, I don't really need to give website to Smartlead. So if you want to create any custom column, so if you see, like, go here, and I don't see any option to map out company location. So it just says location, so it could be personal location as well. So if it doesn't have any option to import a particular column that you want, you can create a custom field for that. And this has to be done when you are adding more and more relevant elements to your cold emails to personalize the emails that are not very basic and you have derived from AI. So that's why you can create a lot of custom fields. So this is how you create custom fields, right? So after you have mapped out all these columns in your sheet, whichever you want to import into the Smartlead. So just a note, if you don't mark anything here, these columns will not be imported in Smartlead. So make sure if you want them to be imported to Smartlead, you map these. Another option here is client ID. So if you are running this campaign for a particular client and you want this to be shown in their particular web portal, you can just simply go ahead and select that client's name and it will be mapped out to them, right? And after you do this, you can just simply click save and next, and all the leads will be imported to Smart Leads database for this particular campaign. And it says there are 2 leads that were invalid, so I'm okay with that, and then it will show me how many leads were imported into Smart Leads. And now you can see, like, I tried uploading 795 leads and there were duplicate leads in multiple campaigns, so it have imported 554 leads to it. So the second step after importing lead is setting up your email sequences. So you can have any number of email steps you want. I mostly have 4 email steps. So this is where you can create the first email step. You can add the subject line here and then add the email copy here, right? And you can also add any number of variants you want to add, any email step you want to better A/B test, right? If you want to A/B test your subject lines, your email copies, anything you want, and you can even do smart A/B testing configuration, right? So either you can have a manual distribution of your emails, like if you do 4 variations of first email and you have 100 leads, everyone will be assigned 25 leads. But if you want an AI percentage, you can distribute on the basis of each variant, right? Like how many percentage of leads you want to assign to the first email, second, third, or fourth, and depending on the reply rate, positive reply rate, click rate, or open rate, obviously, then you can save the AI percentage, right? So this is how advanced it's getting, right? It can just judge the campaign based on few leads. Like if a particular step is getting more replies, it will send more emails to that particular step, and which will obviously increase your email campaigns performance. For this video, I will be setting up email sequences right here, and then I'll show you how to proceed further. Now I have added some data in this email. So just to show you how this works, so for all the elements that you had set up in Smartlead, you have to use an tag like this, right? So if you just anywhere type this multiple times, all these options will come, and you can select anything you want to add that particular place, right? And you might be confused about this. So this is how you add spin text into Smartlead.ai. I hope you're familiar with spin text, but if you're not, you can watch my last video and it has more details about it. But I'm just showing you how to add spin text. Obviously it helps with better deliverability, right? So that's why I'm adding it, and I'm just showing it here, like, so you can learn how it is being added in Smartlead, because obviously there is a different way to add spin text for every platform, right? So you start with this and then add your first variant, then you add a breaker, then you add another version of this, then you add a breaker, and then add another version and close this. So this is how you add spin text anywhere in Smartlead. So this is how I have set up the particular first step. Then let's move on to the next one. Then you can, from here you can gap your emails as well. So if you want to send your follow-up emails after 1 day, you can keep it 1, but I usually like it to send after 5 days, so I'll keep it like 5. So now let's moving on to the next step, which is second step. Again, I have added just random information about what I would send in an email. So if I click on the next step, you will see 2 options here. So first option is to add another email to the sequence, and another option is to add a manual step. So if you select the manual step, Smartlead will remind you when these steps appear into the sequence. So let's say you have sent the first email, second email, and on the third step, you want to call them. So you can set that up in Smartlead, and when the time comes, it will remind you, and then you can obviously reach out to them like, hey, I reached out to you and you didn't reply, and something like that, right? So this is another trigger that is very useful, but I don't usually use it because I'm not doing any calls, right? So after you add all the steps, then we move on to the next. Just for the example, I have added the email sequence here. So let me also go through all the other options we have here, right? So if you select this, it will clean the HTML. So HTML is basically meme marketing emails are being sent, but if you clean the HTML, it will not send any images with your email, and it will increase the chances of delivering that. So second option is if you want to insert any variable at any particular point, right? Third is if you want to import any email template. So if you click here and if you have saved an email template, or even Smartlead provide with all these email templates. So if you want to import this, you just click this and select this template and it will be imported in here, right? So this is the second option. Third option is more text. So it gives you all the option of customizing your text. You can do bold letters, underline, strike through, anything you want. The next option is align left or align center or right. Obviously everybody to the left, so that's not of any use, I guess. So now one more question is how you add pointers to it. So let's say you have 3 pointers inside an email. Now I will show you how to add numbers to those, or also add unordered listing to that, right? So let's assume these are the 3 pointers I want to add in the email. So I would simply select these 3 lines and click this. If I wanted to create an ordered list, and it will be simply created. But if I wanted to change the type of numbered ordered list, I do like any lower alpha or lower Roman, you can easily do it, right? It looks great. Now let me show you how to create unordered list as well. So you again simply select all the points you want to convert, right? Then click more paragraph and just click this unordered, and then you have more options of paragraph format, paragraph style you want to use, the distance between the line heights, which isn't very useful. So the only useful option here is mostly clean HTML, unordered list, and inserting a link. So let's say you want to insert facebook.com here. You would write facebook.com and you want the text to be different, you can just use this option. And the next day, which is another great option to use, is when you want to add an image or GIF to your email, you can simply do it. So let me show you how you do it as well. So let's say you want to add a GIF. Let me just copy a GIF. So let's say I want to add a GIF to this email. So what I would do is I'll just copy the URL from where I am importing that GIF. I will click by URL and paste that here and click insert, and Smartlead it will import that. So you see, now you can resize this as well, right? This is how it's done. Basically, you want to make any changes to it, you can just delete this, or you can double click on this to make any changes. You want to change any size, you want to align it to the right, align it to the center, you want to insert image caption, you want to delete it, you want to insert a link. So right, it gives you all the option it has, right? So another thing you can do is you can, if you want to add any emojis, you can simply do it. So it gives you all the options. It's up to you how much you want to explore, but the most important or the most useful features I have already explained it to you. And these two options are, if you want to undo or redo anything, then you can say simply select here and then click save changes, right? So this is how you basically you use the email sequences to set up email sequences. Now let me show you some few important settings after you have set up email sequences. So you can click on campaign settings and name your campaign. Now it gives you an option when you want your emails to stop sending, right? Now if someone replies to your message, that's basically when I stop Smartly to sending emails to them. So that's why I've selected the first option. Now it asks you what you don't want to track. Basically, I don't track email opens and email click rates. That's why I have enabled this option always. And I highly suggest you do the same. Next option is whether you want to optimize the deliverability. So another great feature coming up with every cold email sequencer is helping you send emails in text rather than HTML, because HTML creates more chances of going to promotions or spam tab, right? So that's why I highly suggest you enable this option as well. Now the next option gives you ability to prioritize your sending pattern, right? So if you want Smartly to focus on new leads or on follow-ups, you can make changes here. I obviously keep it to 50-50, but if you want Smartly to just focus on new leads, you can do this. Now it will exhaust new leads before sending any follow. But if you want it to send emails to new leads and then to follow-ups as well, then you can adjust this setting accordingly, right? Let's say your email campaign have 1,000 leads. So if you just want to send to new leads first before sending the follow-ups, then you do this, and Smartlead will first exhaust your 1,000 leads and then start sending follow-ups. But if you want Smartlead to first focus on follow-ups, then you can enable this, and then only after all follow-ups are done for a particular set of leads, only then it will focus on sending to new leads. There is a high chance that you are reaching out to multiple stakeholders in a particular company. So this option gives you ability to stop the campaign to a whole company if someone replies from that company. So this has been a great time saver for us, right? Because let's say I'm reaching out to 4 stakeholders in a particular company and one have already shown interest, and if I still keep reaching out to others, creates a bad rap with them and can be a deal breaker, to be honest. So that's why I enable it. I auto pause if one of the lead replies from the whole company, and I think you should do it too, unless and until it's an individual offer, right? Now next option is provider matching. So this really depends on what type of inboxes you are using. If you are just using a particular set of inboxes, let's say you have all Google inboxes, then it's of no use to you. And if you have all Zoho or all Outlook inboxes or all SMTP, then again it's not of any use to you, right? But if you have half Google inboxes and half Outlook inboxes, then it can help you increase your deliverability, because obviously Outlook to Outlook will have a great deliverability and Google to Google will have a great deliverability, right? So you want Smartly to first exhaust Gmail to Gmail and Outlook to Outlook after it randomly sends to all your leads, right? So this is a great feature. I also enable it every time. Next step is categorizing the reply. So this is another great feature, I would say, because in this option, if you enable this, Smart Leads machine learning algorithm will analyze the reply coming in. So if it sees that a reply is of a particular type and you want Smartly to make a decision based on that particular type of reply, this helps a lot. So let's say I enable it, then it will ask which type of categorization you want. You can only give it 5 type of categorization. So I will always have interest, not interested, do not contact, information request, and out of. So these are the 5 type of replies I want Smartly to categorize my replies to, right? Because I want to enable these 2 options as well. Obviously, you don't want out of office replies to be included into your reply rate, because then it will inflate your reply rate, right? So that's why I enable this option. And next option is, do you want to reactivate out of office leads after a particular time? Obviously, if someone is out of office, they will obviously back after 7 to 10 days. So I just keep it to 10 days, and it gives you even better chances of converting your leads. Because if you're just stopping after receiving an out of office reply from someone, then you're wasting your leads, obviously, because you may not reach out to them again ever again. So you want to shoot all your shots. So that's why I always reactivate the leads after 10 days. It says like they are out of office. Now another option you have is add unsubscribe link to all the emails, which you can only enable if you have disabled this option. It means it will be sending your emails into HTML, which I don't recommend. So I don't ever add any unsubscribe link to my emails. You can obviously add something that they can use to opt out of your email sequence, which again makes you GDPR compliant, right? So you can add something like, if you do not want me to contact again, just say no. So after you have done all these general settings here, you first save these general settings, right? Then move on to the next step by clicking save and next, right? And in this step you again have an option to select the sender account. So now the next point I want to talk about is schedule campaign. So if you are setting up a campaign earlier, like if you want to start a campaign after a week, this is a great option. What you can do is click schedule campaign and select a date you want to start. Let's say I want to start my campaign on 11th December, so I will select it that date. And here you can also set how many number of leads you want this campaign to engage with every day. Now also you have to choose the time zone you are working in. I'm mostly working with US companies, so I always keep it to the New York's time zone, which is UTC -4. So right, and you can select the days you want to send to. Obviously when you are engaging with B2B companies, they mostly work on weekdays. But if you are someone who works with local businesses, then you are free to send on Sunday and Saturdays as well, because most of those people are mostly involved in their work every day. Then you can select the time period you want your sequence to work between. I usually set up it between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then you can also adjust the timing between every email, right? So if you are using a single email account and don't use this option, then Smartlead may send 20 emails in an hour, which is not again in human like action, and you might face issues with deliverability. Google might ban your account, right? If you were manually sending emails, your average would be like one email in 20, right? So that's why it's very important to batch your emails accordingly, right? You can do it even 25 minutes as well, like one email every 25 minutes to keep increasing the gap. And after you adjust all of this setting according to your particular choice or understanding, right, then you click save, right? And then we move on to the next option, which is reviewing the campaign. Like in this option you can see how your emails will ultimately look, and it will show you for all the leads like which email will be sent to you, right? So here you can really see the magic of spin tech. You see it's constantly changing, right? You see thanks here and regards here, right? And warm regards here. And all other changes are being made as well, right? All elements are being changed constantly as well. These are all the previews for the first email. And if you want to check out the previews for second email, you can come here and select the second email, and then you will see the preview for that, preview for the third email. So you see this is how the third email will look like after we tried using some features. You can obviously, if you see there is any discrepancy like this, you can go directly back to sequences, go to this and correct this, right? So if I don't want to use any of this formatting, I just can simply deselect this and make any relevant changes to my campaign and click save changes. And if I just directly go back to final review, you will see the change being made to every email. You see, you are already seeing that being removed. These points are being shown like this, like then email, and in all the steps, right? So after you verify that your email campaign looks perfect, you have matched all the elements, you have done all the correct settings like this, like rechecking this, you have made sure you have selected all the right email accounts, you can just simply schedule the campaign, right? Also another feature I want to talk about is webhooks. I currently don't use any webhooks, but webhooks can be used to send real-time updates about your campaign activity. So if someone replies to your campaign and you want immediately notified about it, you can just simply set up a webhook using this option to Slack or wherever you want, and you will be notified directly. And again, I have checked, like I have imported all the right leads, I have added all the email sequence correctly, I have made all the settings correctly, right? I have done all the setup correctly, have reviewed the emails like they look fine, then I schedule the camp, right? So now when you are doing a lot of high volume email outreach, you will be receiving a lot of replies, obviously. So smart lead makes your job a lot easier as well, right? So previously what a lot of people were doing is they would create 20 email accounts and connect that to one Gmail account and manage all the replies from there, which is kind of very weird because again you cannot do a great follow-up from there. I have never done it and I really hate that way. Another option you could do is use a master in. So master inbox shows all the leads that have replied to you. You can segment your replies based on the campaign, email status, email accounts, particular email accounts you can segment it to, the team member, the campaign tag name as well, right? Client name, like if you want to see replies for a particular client, you can obviously select that here. Then reply date range, if you want to see replies for a particular date, let's say I want to see replies for 3 to 4th December, I will select that and click apply, and it will show me all the replies. Obviously there are no replies because it was a weekend, right? But if I remove this, clear all, then you will see all the replies, right? And you can obviously manage all your replies in one place. You can check what they have replied, you can reply to them. You can also tell Smartly to remind you on a particular date to follow up with them again if they don't reply back. And another great feature about master inbox is you can create a particular task for a particular date. So all you have to do is go onto that lead, click on task, write the task name and describe what you really want to do. If you want to follow up with a team member, if you want to follow up with them again, then you add the due date and set the priority and save. And if you want to change lead status, if you see smart leads machine learning have not really described or really picked up the reply you have got correctly, you can definitely change the status of your leads from here. Now if you are someone who is sending thousands of email and single-handedly managing all the replies, another great feature for you is subsequence. So you first create a sequence like I have created currently, and then you have a subsequence. So subsequence is part of your sequence which is sent after you receive a certain type of. So let me show you how to set that up. So what you will do is you go to this campaign and you will see a option for subsequence. You have to set it up for every campaign. Then what you have to do is you have to click add subsequence. Then you can choose the condition on which you want the subsequences to work. So if you want the subsequences to work based on the lead category, text it contains, like if it contains a particular answer like hey I am interested in learning more, or if you want to add bounced leads to a certain subsequence, then you can do it here. I mostly like it to do on lead category basis. So let's say if you want to really ease your follow-up process and you have a particular set of replies for prospects who show interest in your services or who show no interest in your services, right? What you can do is you can say if a lead is interested, add them immediately to this subsequence, and then you set up a subsequence. Like let's say you asked a prospect, hey, is this something you want to learn more about? And they say yes, I want to learn more about it. Then smart leads machine learning will mark that as interested, and then it will be pushed to this subsequence which you will be creating, right? So if I were creating that subsequence for this particular email chain, this is how I would do it. Now this makes the job a lot easier. Instead of me manually every time managing an interested reply, Smart Lead will automatically instantly send this reply to them based on the machine learning judgment, right? Let's say they say this lead is interested, then Smart Lead will send this particular reply to them. And now let's assume two scenarios. First, they have gone ahead and booked a call. Then great, then you can stop this lead from here, right? But again, what if they don't reply? For that we will be again going to set up another step to this subsequence. So I will click add step email, and after 3 days I will write another email reply to them. And after 3 days of no reply, Smartlead will re-engage them with this reply, which really looks great. So let's say these are all the two emails I want to send after they show interest. And then I will click save next, right? And I can schedule the campaign. Obviously, it will be starting as soon as my campaign is starting, which was 11th, and choose the time zone. Let's say all of these things you can really match to the campaign you are working with. Then you click save and next and review it, and it's so easy to do, but it really saves a lot of time. And you can even track your data about subsequences, like from how many emails you replied to. Let's say you replied to 20 email and only 10 booked a call with you. Then after some time you can manually go to those leads or call them or email them like, hey, I saw you have shown interest in our services, is this something you would like to talk more about, right? And you can even create more subsequences here, right? It's really up to you how creative you can be with your campaign. Now moving on, let's see this option, which is all leads. So basically this shows all the leads about all the campaigns, right? So instead you can see like there are 29,000 leads, active leads I have in my campaigns. So instead of managing them one by one, deleting completed leads manually from each campaign, this makes the job easier for everybody. I can simply filter the leads right here. Like I can select a particular campaign, select the lead status from there and lead category, email status as well, based on whatever you feel comfortable deleting. Like if I see that a lead is completed in a particular campaign and it's not interested, it's of no use to me, right? So I can filter that and select those leads and simply delete them or push leads to even another campaign if you want to re-engage them using different campaign, or import them into block list or something like that, but I really like to delete them, right? So this is how you use this all leads feature to better management your leads and even create more space for sending more and more email campaigns. So moving on to global analytics, I don't find it very useful, to be honest, because it just lets you filter for 5 campaigns, right? And which makes a job a little bit difficult to track. So instead of using global analytics, I always try to use email campaign analytics separate. So basically, I am judging an email based on how many replies it's getting and how many positive replies it's getting and how many calls we have put from that, right? But basically analytics part is to make better decision about your email variations you have created of or of your overall email, right? So if you see our email is doing good and you're getting, let's say, one booked call for every 200 leads, then you can basically duplicate that campaign simply from these options. You can basically duplicate that campaign from this option to create a campaign for another industry by making some changes. Or if you still want to add more leads to this, you can just go to this campaign and add more leads. So analytics basically helps in that. So if you click on campaign analytics, which I think is really useful, you can really see how many leads were contacted, how many positive replies you got, right? And then you can track your analytics based on each email step, like which step got the best replies, which got the worst replies, right? So it shows all the lead status as a pie chart, which again helps in making better decisions. This shows the email account health, which is again great indicator of whether our email campaign performance is linked to our email campaign's health. This option shows how many leads have bounced. So this is a overall a complete analytics dashboard for our email campaign. Right now, before moving on to the last option, I again want to talk about few options we have here, right? So if you see there is an holiday coming up in the country you are working and you don't want to send campaigns on that particular day, you can simply stop the camp. So you don't reach out to people on those days because most people are out of office on those days and it's just waste of your campaign capacity, right? And if you want to make any changes to campaign, like if you want to add a tag to campaign, you can do that. If you want to add or update the client, if you're by mistake assigned a campaign to a different client, you can change it from right here. If you want to duplicate a campaign, if you see like this campaign did good and you want to now send campaign to different set of similar leads, but you still want to track the analytics very different from this campaign, you can then just simply duplicate the campaign and create that campaign as I have shown already. If you want to add campaign of a particular client in folders, right? So let's say I create a folder for Scoutry. Now let's assume I have 100 clients. Now it will be very difficult to search through all the campaigns and make decisions, track their progress and everything, right? But if you want to track campaigns for each client, you can basically go here and add campaign to folder based on each client, so which will make your job a lot easier. So if you go to this folder now, you will see campaigns just in this folder. So if you don't want to create client access dashboards, I highly suggest you create folders, so it makes your tracking easy. You see which campaigns are being run for a particular client, right? And you can accordingly plan your next campaign, how many leads you need, how much time is left for the next. And if you want to create some custom automations, you can definitely use Smartlead's API by going to setting, right? And using Smartlead's API, you can create all the webhooks, everything you want, right? And in the securities part, you can obviously change the password. With webhooks, we have already explored them. Like if you want to push replies to Slack, you can do that. Global block list, again, this is creating from smart leads, bounce detection, and obviously you can add some leads to this list as well, right? For your personal block list, if you have a set of clients that you don't want to reach out to again, right? Let's say if you already have 1,000 clients, you cannot individually for each campaign delete those particular set of leads again and again. You just have to simply add them to block list, and they will never be reached out to. Next option is team members. You can create any number of team members, so you can create or manage the smart lead better. So if you have someone who creates and connect your inboxes, you can give them a different role and invite them as a member. If you have someone who manages your reply, then you can again add them as a member and give them access. So this just makes the functionality a lot. Next option is white labeled client. Again, you can create all the information about a new client in regards to giving them access to the platform. Then you have a tag manager as well. You can create your own custom tags from here, about color preference as well, with the tag name as well. So if you want to tag Google accounts with a particular tag, then you can do that from here. If you want to use some tag to track different things, then you can do that. And now moving on, from this option you can create your own lead categories as well. So if you have a lead category that falls out of these, you can obviously create that and tell the sentiment type to smart lead, right? And will be really time saver for you as well if you were manually typing some lead category types. For warning notification, you can set up an email account or a webhook URL to update you about disconnected accounts as well. And again, last option, you have to manage your subscription. So basically that was all for this video. I hope you were able to understand how to use Smartlead from beginning to end, and I was able to clear all your doubts as well. And if you still have any questions about Smartlead, feel free to comment down below the video and I will make sure that I reply to you. So as usual, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.